I do something called the 5-star shout out. I'm not gonna say it because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in you can't make a you know what I'm talking about.
All right. Good morning, everybody. How you doing out there? I'm Dennis Holmes. I'm with my co-host, the Chocolate Girl.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here on Saturday morning, my favorite day of the week.
Yes, definitely my favorite day of the week. We have a special guest in the building, 2-time Emmy Award winning Deborah Whitcas is in the house with us, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey guys,
we are here.
how are you?
Oh, look, she's got those statues right back
Right
there.
That's real.
Just a little nonchalant, you know.
Yes.
I try to be inconspicuous, you know.
Well, welcome.
Yes, well, the first thing we do here, though, Deb, is we ask how your week was. So since you are the guest, how has your week been?
My week has been busy, I have to be honest. I work still in nonfiction television, and then also football season starting. So training camps. So I've been doing both. Also, my puppy got neutered this week as well. So he's actually chewing on the cat's nail clippers now.
Oh,
Let me go grab those from him. I'll actually introduce you guys to Cannoli as well. Hold on. Let me bring him up real quick. Come here, you. He's on fire this morning with stuff that he's eating. So
Lord.
This is Cannoli. It's my little puppy.
Hi, Cannoli.
Hi, Cannoli. To everyone out there. You're on TV. All right. So yeah, no, my week was great. How was yours?
Well, Sharon, how was your week, Sharon?
Well, my week has been a good one, actually. I was mentioning to Deb earlier that I got to see one of my friends who I hadn't seen since before the pandemic. And we got together and celebrated our birthdays because they're a month apart. And we had some great Italian food, including a cannoli. And it was very, very, very delicious. So it's been a great week.
Bring Italian in there.
Yeah, gotta have that. It's my favorite food is Italian, and it was really delicious. And so it's been a good week. I felt pretty good this week. It's been a good week. How about you, Dennis? How's your week been? Still learning a lot?
Yeah, you still get crammed in, learning a lot. You try to put all that together. But besides that, I had a pretty good week this week.
It's been a good sports week for me.
Okay.
And let me explain what I mean. I don't know. It's almost like I started mapping out next NFL season and NBA season. What I'm going to do, what I'm going to follow, how I'm going to look at things. What am I going to do? Am I going to watch? I don't know. It's this time of year I start thinking about that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to figure out what games you're going to. You get to figure out, you got to figure out your schedule. My calendar is always pretty packed starting around this time. So,
yeah, well, we're gonna make it up to a Steelers game. Steelers Ravens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should be a good game.
Yeah, Steelers. Yes. We will be beating the Ravens both games this season.
Ravens. I'm excited to see both this year.
Yeah.
You're like whatever.
Yeah, I'm just like.
I mean, I'm for the Eagles. First game. Eagles first preseason game is on my birthday.
Fabulous.
And they play Baltimore. They play Baltimore in Baltimore, so I'm going to that game.
Fabulous.
Awesome. You're gonna have
What do
such
you
a
guys
good
think? What do
time.
you
You're
guys
gonna
think?
have so much
Yeah,
fun.
it will be fun. What do you
Oh
guys think
yeah.
of preseason? Do you think it's some people are like, oh, it's not worth it. I don't know why they play because like the
No, I was
games
with it.
really don't count, and people get hurt. But then otherwise, it's great. It's great to have football back. You know.
Yeah. People are gonna get hurt anyway.
Right.
Whether it's a preseason game or the first game of the season, somebody's gonna get injured. So I
People
don't
getting injured in camp. I mean, Joe Burrow
yeah,
got
yeah.
his
Just
calf
it's
injury.
gonna happen. So I think preseason is worth it.
I do too because I want to see the rookies. That's why I go
Yeah.
to see the
That's
rookies
true.
in the preseason.
Got to see how they mesh and how they really pan out. You
Right, and how
can't
they
tell
look.
that from a tape and draft day.
Yep.
It just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But that's pretty much it. Now, Deb, you was in Philly this week though. I see
I
you
was
was in Philly.
in Philly 2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I go back and forth between LA and Philly. So yeah,
You was at the I think it was a award ceremony that they was giving out for the old Eagles players.
yes. So I work with True Fan Travel, and it's basically Philly sports trips as well, and it's True Fan Travel is now the world company, and yeah, they work a lot with NFL alumni, and so there was
Okay.
a ceremony, a party, just kind of kicking off the start of that of True Friend Travel, and yeah, there was like 30 former NFL players there, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Yeah.
I think everybody has a connection with Philly sports trips, but me. I gotta start.
Well, you
I
do
gotta bump
now.
elbows. But I gotta start bumping elbows with these guys. I need to start. I might need to go on that trip. I
They're
want to
really
go, but I
fun.
don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the time off. That's the whole thing about it. Like
That's always
I
an
got the
issue.
money to go, I don't have the time off.
Yep.
Mhm.
Always a catch-22, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, how do you think? Speaking of Eagles, how do you think Jalen Carter's gonna do this season?
I was very excited to get Jalen Carter. I don't know if you've seen my video on Instagram, but I was in the Eagles facility at the link, and I was with my cousin. I kept telling him, I said, "We going." I kept telling him, "My boys, I said we getting Jalen Carter." He said, "If you keep saying it, we not." I said, "We getting Jalen Carter." So then they finally let us get in the locker room, right? So I
Oh,
get in the locker room, and I was looking around. I said, "Okay, that's where Jordan Davis sit. This is where Jalen Carter's gonna be sitting." He said, "You don't stop saying that. We ain't gonna get him." I said, "We gonna get him. I'm telling you, we getting him. Ain't nobody else gonna pick him. We gonna get him. I'm telling you." So then we finally went to the
right.
media. We go to the media room, and somebody was like, "Yeah, the Eagles just traded up to 9." I said, "We got him. We got him, cuz. We got him. How we gonna get him?" He said, "How you know how we gonna get him?" I said, "Because his name is Jalen. He's in love with drafting Jalen. That's all I know."
There you go.
That's awesome that you thought that. No, I was shocked and very happy. And from what I'm hearing, he's killing it at training camp.
That's what I
Yeah,
heard
that
too. And Dennis called it. He was saying all pre-draft, we're gonna get Jalen. That's all I kept hearing him say. So
yes,
kudos to
that
y'all.
was it.
But yeah, I heard he's been killing it.
Yes. Well, Deb, could you tell us a little bit about yourself for the viewers? This is their first time seeing you.
Sure.
I've only seen you because I think you liked one of the things that I did, and then I was like, well, who this with a blue check liking me? And then but then I kept looking, I was like, oh, I gotta start paying attention to her. Then I told Sharon, I was like,
She's
Sharon,
legit. She legit.
That's how
right.
it happens.
Mhm.
So, yeah, my name's Deb, two-time Emmy-winning TV producer and sports reporter. I do both. So yeah, I've been in television since I was a child. I was 12 years old when I started. So yeah, been doing it for a while now. It's kind of all I know. Was on a show called Dance Party USA in Philadelphia, and we did that for a while. And then in college, I was one of the dancers on MTV's The Grind. So,
Shut up.
yeah,
I used to watch The Grind.
I was on there for a while.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, and my reporting coach, Dallas DeLeon, she was one of the hosts. She was one of the VJs there.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
when I connected with her in LA, that was pretty fun. That I had been on the show as one of the dancers, and she was the VJ that was one of the hosts. So that was fun. And yeah, I mean, I've done a variety of shows. I've probably done about 30 now total. Everything from, I started my career at Jerry Springer. I've also worked with Dr. Drew, Dr. Phil. I've done makeover shows. I've done wedding shows. I have done worked with David Dobrik for a bit a year or two ago. Did those kind of prank shows.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've done it. House Hunter renovation. I worked in renovation for 3 years. I directed those shows.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah. And then also with sports, I was working in Atlanta. I was working in a couple of different court shows, paternity court with Lauren Lake, personal injury court, and couples court with the Cutlers. And yeah, it was a lot. We were doing 3 shows at the same time. And I really, when I moved to Atlanta, I didn't really have many friends. And I spent a lot of time with sports, to be honest. College football, the Falcons, and it was just around me all of the time. And I really started to I had always been a huge Eagles fan, but I had never really followed the entire league until Atlanta. And then all of a sudden I became obsessed. And one day I woke up and I was like, why am I not doing this for a living? Like, I understand the game. I understand the teams. I'm obsessed with all of the storylines. I think sports is the best reality show out there. It's real and it's passionate, and fans get into it. The players obviously get into it, and there is just so many storylines. Something is happening different every second. And yeah, I was like, at that point, I literally just started to. I made my decision. I was going to make a pivot, and that's what I did. I looked up, how do you pivot into sports reporting? Came upon Lee Steinberg's his conference that he gives, met with them, and it kind of just took off from there. So I've been networking. I've been concentrating on sports now for about 4 years, and it's a blast. And I really don't want to do anything else. So yeah, it's fun. And I've always been a huge sports fan. Like my father played minors for the Phillies, and he was also a professional bowler. So sports was a huge, growing up was huge in my life. I basically grew up at the Vet. I've always felt my best at a stadium, so it kind of only made sense that I went into sports.
That's good to hear.
That's what's up.
Well, what year was it that you was in Atlanta? The years?
I was there 2018 to 2020. Like, I left right before COVID happened.
Okay.
So much happened in those 2 years. It was nuts. So it's such a huge impact. I'm really glad that I made the decision to go to Atlanta. And I was actually thinking, prepping for this interview today, I was, in my head, very thankful that I had that time in Atlanta, because it really kind of changed my life. LA, I'd been in LA for several years, probably 16 years. And I was just I love LA, but I can't live here all the time. It's just a different universe sometimes. And I need that dose of reality. So I was glad to be able to kind of get away for those 2 years that I did, and still have my place in LA. I kept my place, but it was just a different perspective on life and dealing with different people. And I think that's important too. So yeah, it was, and it made me be a little bit bolder. I have my friends in LA. So like, it was kind of always and I love my friends in LA, don't get me wrong, but it was, it just kind of forced me to be a little bit more out of my comfort zone, which is what I needed, at that time in my life. So
yes,
I think it all worked out. It was scary. You were like, I had never even been to Atlanta when I moved to Atlanta. So I was like, where am I going? And, I made it work. So.
But you was producing 3 shows at that time in Atlanta. And you were still taking, covering the Falcons and Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't covering them quite yet. I was just, watching and going to games, and that kind of made me think about actually, being a sports reporter. So.
Okay. That's definitely. And
I was friends with some of the Falcons cheerleaders. Like, I took dance class with them, so that was fun. If I actually would have stayed another season, I was going to actually audition to cheer with them, because I was like, I already danced with you guys. Why don't I actually try out for the actual team? But unfortunately, that's when COVID hit and everything shut down, and I couldn't. And then now I'm in LA again. So
Okay. Now you said you started at 12 years old, which is kind of crazy to us. How did you get started so young?
You know what? First of all, I was 5 years old, and I told my mother to get me an agent. So
What?
yeah, I knew what I wanted to do right off the bat. I feel like, which is unusual for people to say. She refused, thank God, but because then I would have been a childhood actor or actress, and not many of those have been
Wow.
successful. But
Yeah,
pretty screwed up. So,
sanity ain't
not
too
all of
good
them,
with them.
but and my mother, she bluntly was like, no way. So she was like, my kid's gonna be a kid, and that's what I did. But she always made sure to put me into the dance classes, into sports, into a little bit of everything, and that theater. You know what I mean? Like every opportunity she could get for me to work on my craft. I was in choir, I was in band, I was in front of audiences, and so I think that really helped. And then it just so happened that Dance Party USA filmed in Philadelphia, and all of my friends, we were big fans of it, and so we went on. We actually got tickets, and we're part of the show. And then the producers approached me about being on more from there. So
Nice. That is definitely nice. Now, when you made the transition and say you're gonna be a full-time sports reporter,
mhm.
um, what was some of the difficulties that you went through?
It's actually harder than I thought it was going to be. I I was like, oh, no big deal. I'll finish my last reality show, and then I'll do a few connections. Send out a few resumes. With the 2 Emmys I have, this shouldn't be too hard. And honestly, I'm still pivoting. You know what I mean? Like I want to. Ultimately I want to work for NFL or ESPN or CBS Sports. Not quite there yet, but definitely getting there. It is it's harder than it looks, and yeah, I mean, I think you just have to network as much as possible and do as many shows as you can, and get your face out there, and do as many interviews as you can, take every single opportunity, and people finally want to hear what you have to say. As long as you have to prove yourself, and I'm finding that people like will ask people now ask my opinion, which before they didn't. So
I know the feeling now, because people now call me and ask my opinion, or they'll call me and say, "Hey, man, we really want you to come down." Like on Monday. Monday they're giving out that they're revealing the Kelly Green Eagles jerseys on Monday.
awesome. Yep.
Right. So I got a text, I'm gonna say 2 days ago, saying, "Hey, we tailgating outside the link,
Love
and
it.
we want you to be there." I said, "What time y'all tailgate?" 8 in the morning, because they're showing the Kelly Green jerseys at 9 in the morning. I said, "All right, I'll
I'll
be
be
there.
there.
I'll be there."
I would be there if I was in Philly.
Right.
I
Yeah, I
cannot
agree
wait
with it.
for the Kelly Green jerseys.
Yeah, I want to see what they look like. That's what I really want to see.
I can't wait.
Everybody's got a version of them. I just want to see what they look like. I'm really excited to see. But
Yep.
I do know the feeling that if you keep going, you keep talking, people will be like, "Oh, yeah, oh, okay, yeah, that's me."
I think the biggest thing in this industry is you just can't give up. And once you do, that's it. Like you're done. Like I think you just have to keep going, no matter how many times you hear no, or or people don't believe in you. It literally only takes one person to believe in you, and that one yes, and then and you go from there. Who would have thought I would have been working with? I covered the Super Bowl last season, and I was there,
I see that.
talking with AJ Brown, him and I,
I
Jason
saw that.
Kelsey, just Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox. I mean, all the guys that I got to interview personally. I mean, that was amazing for me. Now, my ultimate goal is to cover the Super Bowl, basically being the sideline reporter. and then the Eagles win. So basically being Erin Andrews, which Erin Andrews is not going anywhere anytime soon. But, broken dream.
I understand. They could
Excuse
they
me
could
one
always
moment
use.
as my dog is chewing on something else. Let me grab him.
Okay.
Well, Canoli's the star of the show this morning.
That's all right. Cannoli. I love that name.
Oh, that's definitely a different name. Cannoli.
He's actually chewing on his treat, which he can have. So for once, he got it right.
All right. Well, I know you cover football, but do you cover any other sports?
You know what? I do, and I will. I just feel like football is my true passion and my true calling. So I focus more on that because I think in sports, or in general, and me not coming up from sports, I think I've been told I really should focus on one, and go for NFL films, go for NFL media. So, but no, I do. I mean, I love baseball too. So baseball was my first love. So
I was about to say
I
it probably
played
it probably
softball.
was your first one.
So, and I watched my dad play, and he was, big baseball, MLB, not MLB, he played minors, but, so, I love baseball, I love hockey, so I'm not a huge basketball fan, I know people hate me for that, and I probably shouldn't say that out loud, I don't know why.
No, it's okay.
I don't know why, I just have never, even since high school, it's just never been, I mean, I'll watch it for sure, and especially when it comes down to, playoffs and championships, I'll watch. But it's exciting. But just to sit down and watch a game, during the season, just not my thing. But football, I'm stuck to the TV every Sunday, every Monday, every Thursday. Preseason, I'm there.
Right. Yep.
All of the games. I mean, I just don't. Like I said, I'm an Eagles fan, but I watch as much football as I can.
So
I know you watch us too, right?
I do.
I know you do. Yes.
Love some.
Look at his face. See, hater.
Najee Harris. I mean.
Now, who would not want to watch him?
I mean.
Come on now. I mean, yeah. Fix your face, Dennis. Fix your face.
What? Who?
Fix your face. Najee Harris, TJ. TJ Watt. Yeah.
Anyway, what I was going to say was, what's some of the best games that you've been to, if you can remember?
To be honest, this last season, I had a blast. I was at the Eagles home opener. We played the Vikings, and you were there too. Okay, so I feel like I was a little not conflicted about Jalen Hurts. I just wasn't sure if he had the arm. Just wasn't sure if he was our franchise quarterback. I know, but that game obviously proved me wrong. I mean, a lot of people said it. Everyone said it. He not that I was one of the naysayers.
Not everybody.
Well, not everybody. You're correct.
Deb, I love you, Deb, but not everybody.
Yeah, we knew. I knew. He knew.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, like with Justin Herbert, I feel like he's the franchise quarterback. But I don't know, Joe Burrow, but Jalen, I don't know.
No, she didn't say Justin Herbert. Oh, Dennis, are you okay? Are you okay, Dennis? Are you okay?
Boy just got paid. So did Jalen, though, and Jalen deserves it. Jalen deserves it. So I think that game changed my perspective, which I'm glad I was not wrong, but I'm glad that game happened, and I'm glad he's our quarterback for the Eagles, and I'm really excited to see what this season brings.
Because, hey, we'll take him. Y'all don't want him. We'll take him over there at Pittsburgh. We'll take him.
And I still think we should have won the Super Bowl. That was a
hard one. Leave the Super Bowl alone. I was at that Vikings game as well. I was already convinced.
Okay.
Jalen was a franchise quarterback before he got drafted. I was calling him my son. Yeah, I call him my son. It's my son.
Okay.
That's what I was doing. But I didn't think he was coming to the Eagles. I thought he was going to Pittsburgh. And then when I heard his story and he thought he was going to Pittsburgh, I was like, well, guess I ain't the only one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought he was coming to, I was hoping that he was
Yeah.
coming to us. Yeah.
And it's just shocking. But yeah, I've been to a lot of games. I don't know. I've been to a lot of games. To be honest
I
with
mean,
you, live.
I have to say too. I mean, the first Super Bowl was it 5, 6 years ago. I mean, our first win, I was there, so that was amazing too. I was on the 50-yard line for that game, and that I mean, that kind of changed my life too, being there and just that was an amazing experience. Watching the Philly special and watching the end of the game where we're Philly, like you just you think things go wrong, and I watched Brady throw the ball to Gronk, and I watched it soar, and then I watched it drop, and I was holding my breath as everybody in that stadium was, and then
Yeah.
I looked over, I saw it drop, and I looked over at my best friend who was with me, and I was like, "Did we just win?" Like, no, that we did, but I
Mhm.
was so in shock. And then she looked at me and said, "Yes." And like next thing the green and the white confetti starts going everywhere. So that was an amazing experience. I was also at Miracle at the Meadowlands too, where Deshaun Jackson ran that punt
Mm.
return back
Yes.
in the last
Yes.
3 seconds of the game.
Hmm.
And the funny thing is that I almost missed that game. I had flown in from LA, and I got there a little bit before halftime, and I was not going to go because I wasn't sure. I was flying in. My my dog was with me. My aunt picked up my dog so I could go to the game, and so I
That's
picked up my
cool.
rental car. I'm driving up to like it was the Meadowlands, and get there, and it was super easy to park. And I was like, okay, this is good, this is good. But yeah, I mean, the whole game, the Giants were beating the Eagles, and all of my friends the friends that I was with were Giants fans,
Oh.
and so it was like it was tough. I was like, why did I do this? Like they're so good.
Hmm.
Like why did I do all this? And then all of a sudden, that they came from behind and that play, and Deshaun actually, I was in the end zone where he ran it in, and I was 3 rows up, and literally
Wow.
he ran right towards me. Remember when he ran and then he kind of faked out and ran
Right.
Mm.
in the end zone in a different part? Well, the
Hmm.
first time when he was running towards me, that's where I was standing right there. Like,
Mm.
I'm literally so, I'm like getting teary eyed. So he ran right towards me, and I was like freaking out. And then he like did his little pivot and then ran into the end zone. And then
Hmm.
literally like you just needed to find an Eagles fan in the crowd
Hmm.
because people were just hugging and like jumping on each other. It was crazy. So yeah,
Yeah, Eagles fans are very passionate
very much
folks.
so.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm going to use,
Yeah,
passionate.
passionate. Well, and then of course, then
Hmm.
my phone starts blowing up because people didn't know, like my family didn't know whether or not I had made it to the game even. Because and my dad called, he's like, "Please say you're there." I'm like, "I'm here." So
Well,
that was a
good. That's
fun
good for you.
experience.
That was a great moment. I
Yeah.
remember that play well.
So yeah, those are
I
some of
mean,
my like obviously the games that stand out in my mind.
Hmm.
that's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I went to Atlanta after the pandemic for the Atlanta Eagles game. Jalen
I too.
Hurts first season as full-time starter. Yeah.
It was the first
I,
game of the
I,
season, right? It was the
yeah.
this
I
the
made enough
last.
noise in there that I made some fans leave. So it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty
you
good.
gotta show, you gotta send her the clips that you posted. I
That
mean,
was
he literally made, they literally left. They got so tired of him,
oh, that's
you
funny.
know, because
Yeah,
because the
we
Eagles
beat
were
them.
winning.
We beat them really bad that game.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
But they
felt
was
this big.
they was talking so much trash
They were.
outside because we do our Eagles chant. They was like, we know how to spell Eagles. Why y'all keep saying that? Then they
were
just
you
kept
at the
saying
tailgate?
ATL, huh? That's all they kept saying. ATL, huh? And I was
I
like,
was living in ATL then, so yeah. Or was I? I've been to two ATL. I've been to two Eagles games with one time I was living in ATL, the one I think I flew in. But I was definitely there. Yeah, no, the Falcons fans were definitely talking some trash, but we shut them up very quickly.
Yeah, you gotta send it. She's gotta see it. It's just so funny.
Oh, do you have the video?
Yeah, he can send them to you. The looks on their faces, it was just priceless. I was like, get him, Dennis, get him.
Yes, no, Eagles fans are very passionate and really care about their football. Care about all the Philly sports, to be honest.
Well, all right. Here's my last question. I'm sending it to Chocolate Girl. How did you become a producer on the backstage on these shows?
I went to school for it, to be honest. And I was lucky enough that my high school, I was on Dance Party USA, and then my high school actually had a TV station in it, and we broadcasted to our to the city. It was
the city of Philadelphia.
The West Report. What was that?
The city of Philadelphia.
No, I'm from Cherry Hill, so I went to Cherry Hill West. So, so I went to Cherry Hill West. So yeah, and it's actually funny. I actually went back for a career day during the summer and spoke to the kids about being in broadcasting and being in sports journalism. So that was fun to go back, and this TV station's still there. I sat, I got to stand by the old desk that I used to stand at, that I used to sit at and do my reports. So that was great to do. But so yeah, and I kind of just knew that's what I wanted to go into, in college, and found a good TV school. I went to Elizabethtown College in Pennsylvania, small school, but great TV program, and started as a freshman. And by the time I was a junior, I had my own show. I was the director of public relations for the TV station there. Wow. at the college, and did several internships. I did an internship at Fresh Air, NPR, in Philly in the summer, and worked at a called Kramer Sweeney. It was a public relations firm, and worked at the local Lancaster, Pennsylvania TV station as well as an intern. And I actually ran into them at the Rose Bowl and at Super Bowl. So WGAL. And I saw their jackets, and I was like, guys, I used to intern for you when I was in college. So we exchanged information. So that was kind of special too, that I ran into both of them at the Rose Bowl and Super Bowl. So yeah, it was that's just how I started. And then I during I was looking for a job. I was about to graduate, and I just happened to be on spring break, and MTV was down there casting. So I got to be, they were doing, the Jerry Springer show was doing shows on MTV, and there was a show called Spring Broke, What Would You Do for $20? And one of the girls had canceled, and one of the casting directors walked up to me because they knew me from doing The Grind. And they were like, Deb, what can you do? This girl canceled. And I was like, I don't know. I was a cheerleader. Like, I can do a split on two guys' shoulders and do some kind of stunt for $20. And she was like, that's perfect. I did. And I did just a split on two guys' shoulders. Some dude like limboed underneath me, and it actually got cut from the show. But yeah. And then I got to meet Jerry, and from there I just literally went up to him and basically asked for a job.
Wow.
I was like, hi, like, I'm graduating. I love your show. I'm a huge fan. My dad was a huge fan as well. And I said, I'm graduating. Is there any opportunities at your show? And he was like, you know what? There's a woman named Rhonda Funk. She does the internship program. Why don't you reach out to her and tell her that I sent you and see if she has anything available? So literally got back to school, went to the library. I just aged myself there and did research on how to find this woman. And then I found her. She's now one of my dear friends to this day, and reached out to her and said, hey, Jerry sent me. And she goes, look, I have one internship available. If you have enough guts to go up to Jerry Springer on spring break and ask for a job, you have enough guts to work here, the internship opportunity is yours. So that's what I did.
That's what happened.
So yeah,
That's cool.
and then worked my way up from I got from the internship. I got hired as a part-time production assistant. I worked 3 jobs in Chicago to make ends meet. I literally went from my internship and walked across the street to a restaurant, and then from the restaurant walked across the street to a club that I waitressed at night, like a cocktail waitress. So it was tough for a while there, but then I got a full-time job with the show as a production assistant, and then worked my way up to producer when I left.
Cool.
So, that is nice. That is definitely nice.
You work hard.
That is the grind.
That's a hustler. That's a hustler right there. Forget that. That's a hustler.
It's the grind. And when you want it,
you have to. If you want something in your life, you have to go get it. So
you gotta go get it. When you want it, you gotta go get it.
Nobody's giving it to you, that's for sure.
I'm a big believer in hard work and networking and talking with, everyone has a story. And I think that's, what's made me successful.
I agree.
Ooh, that's cool. So let me ask you this question. What's tougher, being a production assistant or a cocktail waitress? Which one is tougher? Because when you said cocktail waitress, I said, oh, wow. That's a hard-working girl right there. Yeah.
The cocktail waitress was a lot harder. And
I'm
getting
sure.
people's drinks.
That's why I knew. I was like, wait a minute.
No, production assistant was, it's still a tough job, don't get me wrong. But no, the cocktail waitress thing, and people are drunk and they get mean if your drink isn't right, or if the bartender gave you the wrong one, and then, and then if sometimes change gets messed up and people are mean.
Yeah. They're funny about their drink.
Yep. And also people didn't know that I had worked all day at Jerry Springer and then worked the dinner shift at my restaurant and then walked over to cocktail waitress at midnight and worked till 4 a.m. Like, they don't know that.
They don't know, and they don't care. Nope. They just want their Long Island right. Yep. That's all they care about.
So you visit on Long Island. I since bartended. So I do like making Long Islands.
Oh yeah. I love that's one of my favorite drinks. But I wanted to ask you, Dennis, I guess he's turned this over to me. So I wanted to ask you about your Emmys.
Sure.
So you're a 2-time Emmy Award winner. I love saying that. I just think that's awesome. 2-time, not 1, 2-time Emmy Award winner.
Yeah. And
First of all, what did you win them for, and how did you feel when you found out you won?
So there's actually a video of us winning. But I'll tell you, so my first Emmy was for Lucky Dog on CBS. Mm-hmm. I was the of that. Brandon McMillan was the host then. And Brandon had won the year before for host. And I believe the year before they had gotten nominated, but didn't win. So, we were nominated again, which we were very thankful for. And, it's actually funny because I was videotaping the announcement, how they go through the categories and then they who all is nominated. And I was nominated. One of my friends was nominated with me on a different show. And then also Oprah. And I was like, Oprah's going to win this. You know what I mean? Like, how could she? I mean, Oprah's amazing, but it's like, how could she not win this? And so they're going through the announcements. They're announcing the shows. And then they said, and the winner is Lucky Dog. And literally, like, here's the video, just all hell breaks loose. Like, I'm screaming. I throw the camera. What? You literally just hear people screaming at the table and see, like, it's just pure mania. And so, we ran up on stage, and the president of Litton Entertainment spoke, because that's the show that, that distributes Lucky Dog. Now I believe it's Hearst. And it was amazing to be up there and being up on the stage and looking at it from a different perspective. I think at that point I had 4 nominations. I'm up to 9 now.
Oh, awesome!
And one I'm actually nominated this year, and I'll get to that in a second. But it was amazing to be up on stage and to see see the room and see all the people from that side. And so I just sat there like looking, and I'm like, I need to remember this because this may not ever happen ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just
I
can't.
mean, that's a great achievement.
Yeah, you can't
I
take things for
mean,
granted. You know what I mean?
mm-mm,
Some
mm-mm.
people, work their entire lives and don't win one. And deserve to. You know what I mean? But
Right.
so I was like, let me take all of this in because like you're appreciative. Because it's also it's your peers that are voting. It's not
Mm-hmm.
fans that are, which is great for fans to vote as well. But it's actually people that you work with and who are in the academy and work as hard as
Mm-hmm.
you do, and for them to recognize your work, I think is very special as well.
Oh
So
yeah.
so yeah, and that was it was and then of course we got off stage, and I have friends that work for the academy, and they were everyone was very excited. I was getting hugs everywhere.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, and then we got to sign the little the little Emmys sign with all the other signatures of people who had won. So that was
Oh, okay. Do they
um,
give you the actual statuette? Is that the one that you get to take home, or do they send
no,
you one later, or what
that's
happens with that?
such a good question. So
I
you
always
get
wondered that.
Yeah, you get one later. So
Mhm.
the owner of the company gets to take the one home that you get on stage,
Okay.
and then the staff you have to order it, and then it comes with your name on it, and I can show you it really quickly. Or I can take one, and they're heavy.
I was gonna ask you if it was heavy.
They're heavy. I
I,
mean,
I just think that the Emmy Award is the most beautiful out of all of them.
it's really pretty. It's very
It's a
pretty. She's
beautiful,
gorgeous. Yes,
yeah. I
we
mean,
love
the Oscar is awesome, but
her.
that is beautiful,
It's
you
just
know.
yeah, it's just very pretty. It's actually gold plated. It's not all real gold. But I always said if I had an intruder in my house, I would just pick up an Emmy and hit him with it because
That's
it's not
right.
heavy. But
Hey, it works.
one, you can see like the name.
Awesome.
Um. So yeah, but
Love it.
there we go. Woohoo. Um. But yeah, so then also a couple years later, we Lauren Lake's Paternity Court was nominated, and
Hmm.
we were in Atlanta, so the staff actually flew out to LA. And again, Judge Judy, she was getting the Lifetime Achievement Award that
Hmm.
year. So we're like, oh, there's no way we're gonna win this. Like, that's just not gonna happen. One of my coworkers almost didn't fly out because she was like, it's a waste of time, and we're like, we're not gonna win. And so I was like, no, come, please. I just have this feeling. And so yeah, so then we were there in the seats, same thing, and they announced this time. I knew not to video because it wasn't gonna I was like, I'm not even gonna try this time. And it's funny because when the person announced it, then the winner is, I literally mouthed the words, like I almost said it with them. It
Really?
was like, yeah, Lauren Lake's Paternity, and the winner is Lauren Lake's Paternity Court. And I said it as she said it, and I was like, and then again, pure hysteria broke out.
Of
No one
course.
expected us to win, and we all kind of, we ran up there, and I passed a couple of my friends on the way, and everyone's like, Deb! And the one thing I was like, please don't, I hated the shoes I was in. I was like, why did I wear these? And I'm like, the one thing I was worried about was tripping as I was going up the stairs.
See,
Like,
that would be me.
that's
I
really
am the
funny.
clumsiest person on earth, I believe. So yeah,
Yep.
that would be me.
Yep. So yeah, and then again, same similar thing, to be on stage and see it from the other side is amazing. And again, I made sure to take in every second of that experience because who knows if it's going to happen again.
That's right.
So
What
I
what's
have
what
hope
is
now.
what is Lauren Lakes? What is she really like?
She's awesome. Lauren is awesome.
She is so beautiful to me. Her hair, I'm just like,
Mhm.
what does she do? Her hair is just gorgeous. But anyway, I really like her. What is
She's
she like?
great.
Is she really
She's great.
personable? And
We've hung out outside of the show. She's a great
Mhm.
mom. She's a great judge. She's a great TV personality, and great, just a great person.
Yeah,
Uh,
you can tell it comes through on her show.
yeah,
And I
absolutely.
do watch the videos on YouTube all the time. Every time she puts out new content, I'm watching it.
Oh,
I
good.
just think
I look forward to
she's got
that.
a big heart. She's
She
got a very
does.
big heart. And I love
Hmm.
that. And some of the messages that she gives on the show is just so on point. I'm like, that's it right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
She's really good. And I used to edit. I used to story edit the show, and I would always kind of be a little not shocked, but she was. You're right. She was always on point with her advice, and I would have trouble actually trying to edit her down because you only have so much time of content. You only have 19 minutes of the show that you can use because normally like the court cases would last sometimes an hour. So she got it all in there, and I had trouble choosing which part of the show you know what I mean to put in there. So
yeah, because I can imagine that everything that she said was so great. How do you choose? How do you choose?
The issue was, I'm like, I don't know what to go with, this one or this one. So well,
that's
and
so
then cool. My last nomination just happened. I was myself and the whole staff was nominated for Judge Steve Harvey. So the primetime show.
You work on that? Oh my gosh!
So I did the first season.
You know how much I love Steve Harvey. Oh my gosh.
He's unbelievably talented. And there was actually one time I was supervising story producer for the season 1, which is what we're now nominated for. And I was excited to see that nomination. So hopefully we win again.
I hope you do. Yes, fingers crossed. We're gonna be hoping for that. I'm putting that vibe, that positive vibe in the atmosphere. She's gonna win. They're gonna win. They're gonna win.
I mean,
that's cool. I know he is fun. I like funny.
Yeah,
like
he's so
funny behind the scenes.
I was editing one time and didn't expect this one line. And I literally fell off my chair laughing. This guy is hysterical. I mean, he's not a judge, you know what I mean? But people,
right?
They had people sign something saying that that they would go by his ruling, and it was a really fun show, really fun.
Let him decide. Let me tell you, the funniest one was the brother and sister.
Yep.
To me, the sister hired her brother to do the construction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I edited that show.
Oh my gosh, that one! I actually pull it up on YouTube sometime and watch it again just to laugh because
it was very funny.
The way that he got down, the way that he drilled down to the nitty gritty of it all was just hilarious.
That was so funny when he was like, when she, I forget exactly what she said, but he was like about you're flying on the wing or something. The whole conversation where he was like, how did you fly there? And she's like, on a plane. And in his mind, he was like thinking first class,
right?
Like on a plane. And then
she's
he was like, on the wing. Did you fly on the wing? Like he was hysterical. Yeah,
it was funny. I love that one. Because he was just so gosh darn honest about stuff until he wasn't. And then when he was caught in a lie, he was just like, well,
and the TV, he had gotten the new TV and he was like, I won that TV. I didn't.
Right. That one. Oh my God. It was just so funny. I love that. Still my favorite episode of that show.
And then
nothing has topped that yet.
Brother, and it happened, it was a good kind of peel the onion back. You kind of got that story. And then she
layers
right at the end.
Yep. And, layers. And then at the end, they walk their brother and sister again. They walking off into this. You knew that was going to happen. They couldn't be like this forever.
Yeah, I mean, and Steve Harvey called it too. He's like, "You guys love each other. Like, don't hug your sister.
Just go hug your sister." And they're probably still just sipping cocktails and having fun. Her stuff is done and he's paid. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's how that's going to work
with family.
That's right.
I don't. My family owns a company, but I hear the stories, so I don't know if I can work for my family or work with my family.
Well, I'm sure you would be a hoot to work with your family, but money can change people. I tell you, it can change people sometimes. So you have to always be careful about that. But speaking of funny, we talked about Steve Harvey. So what are some of your favorite moments? Life is moments, right? We all experience moments on the job, but some of your favorite moments that you have experienced, give me 2 that you have experienced on your jobs over the years.
That's a great question. Nobody's ever asked me that. I think just at Jerry Springer, that we worked so much together that would like we'd work together and then play together too, and like we would just we went out socially and hit the Chicago scene. That was a lot of fun, but we'd also have a ton of fun in the office too. Like we played pranks on each other, and I mean because we would be there till like 2 o'clock in the morning some days. And so with like the pranks were the funnest times sometimes, with the Jerry Springer show. So that's one of them. Another one, my best memories. God, it's so hard because I've worked in so many shows and I've worked with so many amazing people that are now some of my best friends.
Yes, you
So,
have.
you know what I mean? Another one that sticks out in my head is I worked with Ambush Makeover for Fox for 3 seasons, and we traveled the U.S. together. And I think some of those moments stand out in my head as well. Just getting through those shoots because we would film, we'd travel and we'd film for 10 days straight. Then we had one day down there, but we still had to work, but just wasn't filming. And then we'd come back to the office and do all our paperwork and then go out the next weekend for like a 4-day shoot. And it was a pretty long order. It was 120 shows because it was a daytime makeover show.
Oh, I'm familiar. I love that show.
It was a great show to produce. And it was tough because those makeovers weren't, we really did find people on the street. Like that wasn't fake, that wasn't made up. Like we would have, production wise, we would have a salon ready to go, and then we would have a boutique for clothing ready to go. But other than that, we had nothing booked. So we were literally going up to people on the street. We would have an hour and a half to 2 hours every morning to find our target that we were going to make over, and then take them to the boutique and to the hair salon. So that was tough too, and I think it really brought us all together because we'd all kind of talk about it in the mornings, you know what I mean? And then also too, after there were long shoot days because you have to find the person and then they had to have some type of event at the end of the day to do a makeover. Right. So, sometimes the events didn't happen till later, like way later. So you would have 14-hour days easy. Yeah. And so we're just tired. But then I think the time, like the celebration after those shoots were really, really, really a lot of fun. And sometimes, we celebrated with the families or, of the makeovers, or just ourselves. That was, I think that's 2 memories. And then of course, winning the Emmys, that's obviously.
Well, of course.
Like that doesn't even need to be said. But,
I don't even think anything can top those, of course.
So, yeah.
But, yeah, that show, that Ambush Makeover show, though, the people, the transformation of the actual people and how emotional it was for them. That was the draw of the show.
Yeah,
it really was. Just seeing how it impacts their life going through this change.
My favorite was a gentleman that was actually in Baltimore, and we were like, this guy's, and he looked so much different. And we went from, he was like unshaven, like ripped t-shirt, and we grabbed him, and like by the end of it we're like, he's kind of hot, like what's going
you
on
didn't
here?
Know that was in all of that, all under all that hair.
It's amazing what a shave or what a different haircut, we really brought out the people's best features, I feel like, in that show.
So you like interviewing, huh? You like interviewing people? Who's your favorite interview? If you could pick one. Okay. I know that's so hard to do, and you don't want people
tough, but
But if maybe either the top 1 or top 3, who was your favorites? Your favorite interviews be?
So I have to say, talking with the Eagles this past Super Bowl was definitely up there. I would actually say it's number 2. But I can't decide who was my favorite out of the team because I got to talk with everybody. So, but my favorite interview has to be Pete Rose.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
So I'm like,
You're gonna know why later. I'm so excited
Okay.
to hear you say that, but keep talking.
Love Pete Rose. So we interviewed him. I was on a show called Crush House. I was the field reporter. So Sean Salisbury, Rick Mahorn, Frank Nicotero. We were and Angela. She used to be on Baywatch, and also a playmate. So we were all kind of interviewing him. And I have to say, it wasn't even the interview. I mean, the interview was great. We interviewed him for like 2 hours. So to say that I was on an interview with Pete Rose for 2 hours, his stories were just amazing about Babe Ruth, about like his making. He still holds so many MLB records.
Yep. To this day.
Yeah, and no one's. I don't know if anyone's ever going to break them. It's such a shame that he's not in the Hall of Fame, but that's a whole other story. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, what was the greatest? There was 2 moments from talking with him. I had been prepping that morning, and I go over my questions and such, and I jumped on early. I jumped on about 10 minutes early. Wanted to be prepared. Wanted to make sure my background was right. Wanted to make sure my audio was working. I'm very particular. And he was on already, right? So I'm like, oh my God, it's Pete Rose and I. Just hi. And so literally, I just got to sit there for 10 minutes. Nobody else was on. So I got to sit there and just BS with Pete Rose for 10 minutes. Unfiltered, and thank God I had watched the Phillies game the night before, because that obviously that's what we talked about. And it was amazing. Like, I was like, can I pinch myself here that I'm like, he's just like, we're just chilling, like we're friends. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, hi, one of my childhood idols. Pete Rose doesn't get better than that. And so then, people started popping on, and we did the interview. And like I said, his stories were amazing. But there was one part where he had on his Cincinnati Reds cap. Yes. And because of me, he was like, wait, I have a present for Deb. And he took the cap off and he grabbed his Phillies cap and was like, here. And I was like, wait, I have one too. So I went and ran and got my cap, and then I put it on too. So there I was wearing a Phillies cap with like Pete Rose and me.
Now see, that's cool.
Yeah.
And see, those are those moments that cannot be duplicated. Yep. They just happen. They're very organic, and they happen. And it's like fantastic.
Yep. And thank God I literally had the Phillies cap in reach, and I didn't do that on purpose. I was in Philly and I was coming back to LA, so I had a bunch of clothes that I was taking with me. So it just happened to have the cap there. Otherwise I would have had to like root through it.
So cool. That is so cool. You're gonna trip out later. You'll understand later when I get to some other questions why I'm saying that about Pete Rose. But I grew up in Ohio. I'm from Ohio. We grew up on the Cincinnati Reds and watching Pete Rose.
Yep.
And Pete Rose.
Yep.
Yeah. I have a thing for Pete.
Bigger in Cincinnati. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So very well loved. I mean, he's such an amazing athlete, and he played into his 40s, which doesn't happen now.
Yeah.
So and like I said, still has those records. It's amazing.
They're not going to get broken.
I don't think so.
So here's my last questions, and then I'll turn it back over to Dennis.
Okay.
Who are your favorite sports teams, and who is your favorite athlete of all time? All time, living or dead, playing now or not. Who's your favorite athlete, and who are your favorite teams?
I mean, I go Philly teams. I'm from Philly. Okay. I would be, I have some other favorites that I cover or that, that are playing now, just as far as talent. But I bleed green, and definitely will always root for my Philly roots. Oh God, athlete of all time. I mean, I guess I'd probably have to go Mike Schmidt.
Your favorite?
Not even football.
Okay. I'm shocked. That's what I'm saying. I'm shocked it's not football.
Yeah, I mean, gotta love McNabb. Jackson, Deshaun Jackson.
Not McNabb. Not McNabb. No. Deshaun Jackson, yes. McNabb, no. Right.
So we'll go with Deshaun Jackson for football then.
I can deal with that.
I mean, Cunningham. Randall Cunningham.
That's how I got into football, Randall Cunningham.
Randall, he was just so fine.
Yeah, I see. That's how it got me because I was surprised that my grandma and my aunts loved the Eagles, but they was in love with Randall Cunningham.
Of course, who was not?
Yeah, I didn't know that at the time, but that's how I became an Eagles fan.
Well, he was very talented, very
Mhm.
talented, very talented. But yeah, so Mike Schmidt. What
Mhm.
does Mike Schmidt mean to you?
To me,
Mm-hmm.
I
You
mean,
just
just
like watching him, or
yeah. I mean, he was just my child. Like Mike Schmidt was my childhood
yeah.
as far as that stadium. And
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch the Phillies play 3 rows from home plate. The
Mm-hmm.
wives literally sat behind me and my family. So definitely a little spoiled. I used to flirt with the bat boy. That was fun.
See that? Yeah, that's always a perk, right? Getting to flirt with the bad boy, but
Funny.
yeah, see, that's how I feel about Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan
Funny.
was my childhood, and
Hmm.
he was my favorite Cincinnati Reds player.
Hmm.
Joe Morgan. He could do no wrong for me. I just loved him. But anyway, back to you, Dennis. Those are some great answers. I enjoyed this so much. Go ahead, Dennis.
Fun.
Yeah, I just want to know how old was you when you became an Eagles
How old was I?
fan? Yeah,
I don't remember. I mean, I remember. I don't remember not ever being one. So, like, I mean, I think I was bleeding green from birth. Yeah, no, my nana was a huge Eagles fan, and my family always had season tickets. So I don't remember a time where I wasn't an Eagles
your
fan.
family always has season tickets.
So my grandfather had bought them, and we've kept them over the years.
I still got them.
Uh huh.
I'm
Mhm.
about to say this is a 20-year waiting list to get them.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm.
I don't think anyone's ever giving those up. We have 4 seats at the link. We're also we have Citizens Bank Park too. I think we used to have Flyers. I think those went away, but I haven't been to a Flyers game in a bit. So
Mhm.
and
Okay.
76ers too. Yeah, we had all of them. I think we just have Eagles,
Eagles
Phillies
and Philly.
now. So
Wow.
yeah, we know it's a I yeah. No, my grand thank you to my grandfather.
Definitely. Because
Mhm.
he grandfathered y'all in on them tickets.
Literally.
Like, literally. Yeah. Like
Really. Mhm.
literally. Like some guys asked me that yesterday. They was like, how much you think Eagles tickets are? I said they too expensive. That's how much they
Mhm.
are.
That's
He was like he was like, for real, I just want to go to a game with the link. I said, what's gonna cost you about $300.
yeah.
He said, for one game? I said, yeah.
Mhm.
It's gonna cost you about $300. I said it's cheaper. Honestly, it's cheaper to go to a away game than it is to go to a
Yeah,
home game.
it is. Yep. It's tough. That's it. Well,
And I
it's
said it shouldn't be like that, but it is.
it is. Well, and it's gotten. I mean, I think last year's prices were a little bit more insane just because they were doing so well, or they did so well that it was hard to get those tickets.
That so this year gonna be even worse.
Exactly.
Like this year might be $400 tickets. To be honest
Yeah.
with you,
Yeah.
I'm only thinking about going to one home game, and that's that. That's
No.
it. Yeah, I'm only thinking about going to one. That's the one against the Vikings. That's the only one I'm thinking
Yep.
about going.
Oh,
I rather go to the away games. I'm thinking about going to that one in LA,
Mhm.
and
I'll
I'm
be
gonna do
there.
all I can to go to that one in Dallas. I actually
Yep.
like going to
A
Dallas.
lot of people are talking the Dallas game, so
Yeah,
yep. A
I actually
lot
like
of
going to
people.
Dallas.
I have about 10 friends that are going to that Dallas game. We'll see if I get there.
Yeah,
I'm
because you got a
hoping
busy.
I'm gonna,
How do you plan out which games you going to?
well,
You got
that's
a
what.
busy schedule.
Yeah, that's what. Because I'm actually going to be covering a couple too. I think so. I have to figure out the balance between covering and then being a fan. So it just
My
depends.
God, my
I'm
God,
I'm,
Coach
I'm
T.
covering more of the
Sure said
Chargers
something.
this season, but I work with the Los Angeles Football Network.
Yeah,
So
I know.
yeah,
That's why I don't do too much talk. I'm not going to do too much talking because I'm a LA Chargers hater. I stamp myself. I stamp myself as a LA Chargers hater. Stamp.
that's funny. It's funny too the difference between the Rams fans and the Chargers fans. Like some of the Rams fans are like Chargers suck, so it's interesting that they're both LA. Although I feel like the Chargers are still a little bit San Diego, but we won't get into that.
They need to go back.
They should have never
Right.
left, but
Should
I
never
get
left. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
it.
Should have never
And San
left.
Diego would. I mean, they were they were bummed. Absolutely. Like I have several friends in San Diego that just were like devastated that they left.
Mm-hmm.
XFL, I heard XFL might be a San Diego team coming.
That's
So we'll
good.
see. Yeah.
That's good because I said that St. Louis needed a team
Yeah.
because it was a shame how they lost their team.
The Rams. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Rams.
I agree. Well, and it's funny because when I first moved to LA, there was no football here, and then all of a sudden we had two.
We got two. We got two teams back to back.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That is crazy. But so do you know what games you're going to specifically right now or no?
Not yet. That's all still being figured out. So yeah, I don't know yet.
But you are going to all. You go to all the Chargers games.
Hopefully.
Network.
Yeah, hopefully I'm going to cover as many as I can. Like I'm going to training camp next week, and then we'll kind of go from there. So training camp's happening right now too, but I just can't go till the weekend. So.
Well, you gotta let us know where you're gonna go.
Yeah, I will. I'll let you guys know.
We can try to fly out.
What games I'm going to?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you let me know what Eagles games you're going to, I could possibly be there.
Okay.
Possibly. I would think that you're at this one in LA. That's what I
will
think.
be. Yeah, I will be at the one. Well, and I'm also covering. I work with sports data, so I'm a sports data journalist. So I'm doing a bunch of college games too. So I do play-by-play.
How many jobs you got?
Are you sure wait a minute? Are you sure you're not Jamaican? Because I mean, you got a whole lot of jobs here.
A lot of jobs. I'm glad you earned off some time for us today. Let me get that up.
I know it.
What jobs you got? I thought I had too many jobs.
I feel privileged. I really do. For you to be here with us.
For you to be here with all the jobs.
You guys had it locked up too. I loved the preparedness you guys have. It was super great. You kept me informed.
Thank
you.
Very nice.
Yes. Sharon, you want to start with your 5-star shout out?
Okay, so let me explain.
Okay.
So when I usually like to end our interviews with what I call the 5-star shout out. So what this is I'm going to ask you 5 rapid fire questions, and you have to give me your immediate 1 or 2 word answers.
Okay.
No long explanation and all that is needed. Just yes or no, this or that, whatever you feel, just say that. Okay. You ready?
Let's go.
Now, okay, I'm gonna skip the first one. I'm gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you'll know why when I get finished. Okay, ready? Let's go.
Okay.
Should the NFL eliminate Thursday night games?
No.
Would you like to see a WNBA franchise in Philly, and is it likely?
Yes.
Yes and yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who you got? Barry Sanders or Emmitt Smith?
Emmitt Smith.
Thank you. Thank you. I told y'all. Who is the greatest Philadelphia Eagles quarterback of all time?
You're killing me. Going McNabb. Sorry.
I loved you. Damn, you let me down. Okay. No. So my last question was, should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
And I can't believe you brought that up.
Yes. Well, and it's funny because I actually had to ask him that on the interview that I did. Mm-hmm. They gave me that question. So, and you better best believe it's on my demo reel. So,
yes.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a hard question.
And I agree with you. He should be.
Yeah. And do you want to know his answer? Like, his answer killed me. His answer was like, basically, he was like, I think I'll make it, but I'm going to die first. And to hear him vocalize that, I was heartbroken for him.
Yeah, that makes me heartbroken myself to hear that. Mm-hmm. Charlie Hustle, that dude, he can play some baseball, man. That's all I can say. That is what it is. Yeah. It is what it is. But yeah. Oh, that was so fun playing with you. But thank you for saying Emmitt Smith, because that is the right answer.
I mean,
like I've been telling all my male colleagues around me, you don't know what you're talking about. He was an actual better player. Mm-hmm. It's not about line and who he played with and who they didn't play with. No, you got to compare the player.
Yep.
Better player.
I agree.
Back to you, Dennis.
Oh,
What you
yes.
got, Dennis?
This is the end of the show. So this is where we do our final thoughts. If you could give somebody, some young kids out there some inspiration on, how to go into this entertainment world and actually be a, successful, I would say, how would you give them words of encouragement?
I think my biggest word of encouragement is just don't give up. Don't take no as an answer. I still don't take no as an answer. And just networking and get, don't be shy. Ask for what you want. Because you just never know. Like no one's gonna know what you want unless you vocalize it. Like if I didn't go up to Jerry Springer on spring break and ask for a job, I wouldn't be here today. None of this would have happened. I feel like so you just have to be bold and not be shy and go and just go for it and talk with everyone because you just never know who knows who and who can help you. And like I said, if you hear a ton of no's, and you're going to get a ton of no's, I still get a ton of no's. I don't care. So it kind of only makes me stronger. And I'm out to prove people wrong. I'm out to prove people that believe in me correct. And I'm out to prove people that don't believe in me wrong. And always believe in yourself and your talent and know that you have what it takes. And that should get you there.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
Well,
good advice.
I like that one. Sharon, you got anything? Because I actually like that one. I want to end with that one.
I like that one too. We can end with it. That's good advice.
Yes. Well, I want to thank y'all for coming out today.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
Oh yes. And see maybe next. Well, we'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll figure this out. We'll have to do this again during the season, and we can do
something else. Because Dennis and I, we try to do a draft show.
Okay.
Together on my podcast, and then sometimes we do. Don't we do a preseason show with Buck Flair? Don't we?
Yeah, we got a preseason show coming up with Buck Flair August the 4th. That's he's actually in the comment. Preseason prediction show August the 4th.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, Buck Flair is going. It's gonna be a malt liquor night. That's what I'm gonna let you know.
Be a malt liquor night. That's right. Yeah. Come with your drink.
Come with your favorite malt liquor. Drink responsibly. That's what we say. Come with your favorite malt liquor and drink responsibly.
That's right.
God bless y'all. God bless y'all.